Hi, let's go ahead and review SharePoint security hierarchy. In the SharePoint architecture, there are three elements involved, and the top one is the security groups, the SharePoint security groups. And the SharePoint security group is a set of users to which permission levels are assigned. The second level in the hierarchy are the permission levels. A permission level is a combination of SharePoint permissions. Permission levels specify which permissions users have for a site or a list, and therefore whether people can view, change, or manage a list. There are a few default permission levels which come out of the box with SharePoint, but you can go ahead and create as many permission levels as you want. You can go ahead and create as many security groups, SharePoint security groups, as you want as well. A permission level can be associated with either a security group or a user as well. And some of the permission levels that we have seen are full control, read, contribute, edit. So these are some of the permission levels. And of course, we're going to see more of these pretty soon. Permissions is the lowest level in the hierarchy, and permissions are categorized as list permissions, site permissions, and personal permissions, and make up the permission levels. So a permission level is made up of permissions. By default, there are 33 permissions which ship with SharePoint, and these cannot be created or deleted. So to clarify concepts, let's go ahead and review the SharePoint security hierarchy. Let's go ahead and review security groups, permission levels, and permissions. So I'm in my demo site, and I'm going to click on the settings, go in site settings, and then click on site permissions. When I click on site permissions over here, I'm going to see all the SharePoint security groups. These are the list of all the SharePoint security groups. And right next to each one of them, I see the permission levels. These are all the permission levels. And what you see for the most part are the default permission levels which are associated with the security groups. Full control is for administrator. Approve, and in this case over here, the full control permission level is being assigned to an individual user, which is the administrator. Versus over here, which is the approved permission levels, are being assigned to approvers SharePoint security group. If I click on the approvers SharePoint security group, it shows me the users which are part of this security group. Whereas this is just a user. This is not a security group. So I can assign permission levels to both security groups as well as to individual users. And approve, design, view only, contribute, full control, read. These are some of the most typical permission levels which are created with SharePoint. It is possible to go ahead and create as many permission levels as you want, and we're gonna see how we can do that pretty soon. Now, if I want to see all the permission levels, then they're always on the site collection level, which is on the root level or the top level site. So right now, I'm actually in the demo site, which is a child site or the parent site. So I'm going to go ahead and take this out, or I could just go straight to the parent site and go to the site settings of the parent site. When I come to the site settings or the site permissions of the parent site, then over here, I see all the users and I see the permission levels right next to every single user. And up in the top over here, I see permission levels. When I click on permission levels, it shows me the list of all the permission levels which I have in my system. These are all the permission levels. For the most part, some of these are the default ones which have been created by SharePoint when SharePoint has been installed, but for the most part, a lot of these are actually custom permission levels which have been created by site collection administrators. Here and back, and again I can click on permission levels on the root level site, and I can add any permission level as well. We're going to do some of that pretty soon. And finally, if I click on any of these permission levels like full control or read, it takes me to the permissions. These are the permissions. There are 33 permissions altogether, and these are the permissions. And as I have mentioned before, there are three categories of permissions: list permissions, site permissions, and personal permissions. A user can select from combination of these existing permissions and create a new permission level. But unlike security groups or permission levels, where you can create custom or new security groups or new permission levels, you cannot create any more permissions. These are all the permissions that SharePoint provide. You can select a combination of different permissions and create new permission levels. So let's go ahead and take a look at what permission levels are in a little more detail. Think of permission levels as a named collection of permissions that can be assigned to SharePoint groups or individual users. You can assign permission levels to either SharePoint security groups or individual users. There are a number of default permission levels in SharePoint 2013. When you create a new site based on a site template, SharePoint assigns a predefined set of default SharePoint groups with specific permission levels to the site. And these are: the visitors group has got the permission level of read, members group has the permission level of edit, owners group has the permission level of full control. You can associate existing SharePoint groups, individual users, Active Directory groups with permission levels. You can create your own permission levels and even alter all permission levels except for full control and limited. You might have actually seen when I was looking at the permission levels, the full control and limited were grayed out. I cannot edit these. But other than these, I can edit any of the permission levels, either the ones that I have created or the ones which were which were created by default by SharePoint. Now let's go ahead and review some of the default permission levels. So these are the default permission levels which are created by SharePoint when you install them. Read. The user can only view site contents. If a user or a SharePoint security group has got this permission level, then the user can only view the site content. Contribute. The user can view, add, update, and delete site content. So if a user or a security group has got contribute permission level, then the user can view, add, update, and delete site contents. If the user has got edit, the user can add, edit, and delete lists and view, add, update, and delete list items and documents. So similarly, there is the design, moderate, approve, manage hierarchy, restricted read, full control, limited access, and view only. On full control, the user has full control over the site content. And full control is the permission level which has been assigned to the site owners. So these are again some of the default permission levels. It's a good idea to know what these permission levels do. The book basically describes a lot of details about all these permission levels. So it's a good idea to go back and review some of these. A little more on permission levels. When you share your site using the share command, the share button up in the top, what's really happening behind the scenes is that you're adding a user to the SharePoint group that has a permission level that you are assigning to the user. Also, you can provide all authenticated users with site access by going to the site's permission page using the grant permissions command and adding the everyone group. So now let's go ahead and do a demo of breaking permission inheritance. We're going to break the permission inheritance from a parent site to a child site. And then we're going to create new SharePoint groups for the child site access. So I'm going to go to my child site, which is the demo site. I go inside settings and then I click on site settings over here. Go to site permissions. When I click on site permissions over here, what I see is the manage parent and stop inheriting permissions. So I'm going to click on stop inheriting permissions. And it gives me this message saying that you are about to create unique permissions for this website. Changes made to the parent website permissions will no longer affect this website. To manage changes in permissions across multiple websites, using groups is recommended. Hit on OK, and it's breaking permissions. And what it does is that it gives me the option of creating new groups. And I choose create a new group for visitors, for members, and for owners. So I'm going to prefix demo with 5, just because I know that demo owners or demo visitors or demo members is a pretty common security group, and I know that it might have already been created by somebody else on my machine. So I'm just trying to give my security groups a unique name. So I choose these and I hit on OK. And what SharePoint has done now is it has broken permissions on the demo site. So which basically means that the demo child site does not inherit permissions. Now if I go back to site settings, site permissions, then what I see over here is now it has delete unique permissions. SharePoint knows that this site has got unique permissions and is giving me this option, delete unique permissions, to actually delete the permissions, unique permissions that the site has and inherit permissions from its parent. Now we're going to see how I can go ahead and remove parent groups access from the child site. What I mean by remove parent groups access from the child site, I mean to say that these are the list of all the SharePoint security groups which are there on my child site. And for the most part, these are the ones which were part of the parent site. When I broke permissions, it broke the permissions, but it still shows me, it still has all the security groups which have access to the parent visible in here, because all those users still have access to the child site. This also includes the new 3 security groups that I've created: Demo 5 members, Demo 5 owners, and Demo 5 visitors. So what I want to do is that I want to go ahead and have very special permissions for my demo site. I want to go ahead and remove all the users other than the 3 SharePoint security groups which I've created. I click on all of them, and I'm going to keep only those. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and remove administrator as well. The only 3 groups which I'm going to keep is Demo 5 members, Demo 5 owners, and Demo 5 visitors. Everything else is going to be deleted. All these SharePoint security groups that my site has because they were part of the parent site are going to be removed. So any of those users who are part of any of these groups will not have access anymore. I'm going to click on this button, remove user permissions. Are you sure you want to remove all permissions for the selected users and groups to demo? Okay. And the only groups that my demo child site now has access to are Demo 5 members, Demo 5 owners, and Demo 5 visitors. And owners have got the full control, members have got edit control, and visitors have got read control. Now let's take a look at how I can assign a new owner or a new user as an owner. The whole point that I want to show over here is how you would assign a user to a security group. So in this case, it's going to be to the owner security group. After I go to my site permissions page, and in my case I have 3 security groups over here. I'm going to select the Demo 5 owners and then go in the security group. From up in the top, I click on New and click on Add Users. And in here, I'm going to go ahead and enter the user that I want to make as the owner, which is Aaron P. Aaron Painter is going to be the owner. I click on Show Options down at the bottom, and it has Send an Email Invitation option. I click on Share, and this user, Aaron P, gets added to the Demo 5 Owner Security Group. And now Aaron P is actually the owner. This is how I can go ahead and assign anybody to any security group, by just clicking on the security group, clicking on New,